Hello and welcome to Goddess Resurrection. My name is Britta and I am your host. And today's episode is on learning to live from your feminine energy and how to do that. How do we do that? But before we dive in, let me say hello to you. Hello, my gorgeous sister. How are you? I hope you are breathing and feeling in these crazy times, personally and globally, right? So much going on. The vibrations are increasing tremendously daily now. So a lot of people are purging mentally, emotionally, physically, so much purging going on. So I hope you are breathing and feeling and staying in your feminine energy or coming back to your feminine energy so that you are away from the thoughts, in your breath, in your inner connection. And from here, I do want to invite you to come into your breath right now, so that you are in your feminine energy, even if you're continuing with your doings, even if you're going about your day as you are listening to this podcast on the side. Please, I invite you to stay in this breath, which is always the first step into your feminine energy. That deep, slowed bottom of the belly. Nice, conscious in and exhale. And it's also your receiving energy. Remember, it is your receptivity, right? Your feminine energy is your receptivity, your receiving energy. So not only receiving manifestations from externally, but also receiving your guidance from within, your intuition, your knowing, your sensory, your gut feeling, and also receiving these transmissions that I am sharing with you to the deepest level possible. Good. So as you are breathing, let's get started. Now, let me start by saying your feminine energy is always there. Your feminine energy is the part of you that is the spiritual. Your feminine energy is the part of you that's your soul. Your feminine energy is the part that is your portal for your light, for your intuition, and all of the wisdom and knowledge that you could even imagine. More power that you could even imagine, more clarity and joy that you can even fathom. So we're not used to being in our feminine energy because we've been programmed and conditioned to be in our masculine energy for millennia, lifetimes worth of masculine energy conditioning, which translates into the suppression of the feminine, right? Because when the masculine energy is the dominant, everything that we relate to is external. Everything we react to is external. Everything we're looking to want to make us happy is external. And so when we're in this predominant masculine energy, it blocks the way to our feminine energy. The overthinking, the overdoing, the only relating to the external blocks us from our true self, from our inner connection. But it's important for you to know that your feminine energy is always there, 100% present, 100% waiting for you, 100% ready for you. There is no such thing as increasing your feminine energy. She's already there. It's already who you are. The key is to get out of the masculine energy that's dominating your entire space, to slowly but surely get out of the masculine energy so that you can more and more, deeper and deeper, slowly but steadily settle and center deeper and deeper into your feminine energy, because she's there waiting for you. And I'm sure you've heard this, and I've said this before too, that your feminine energy and your soul and your light is not going to be loud and trying to get your attention and being like, hey, listen to me. Hey, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. No, that will be the ego. And that will be the masculine energy. Not that it's wrong or bad. I'm just stating the obvious differences. So your feminine is right there, waiting for you without judgment, without lack of patience or resentment because you've not connected with her, that she's going to give you attitude and be like, well, now you have to try to get my attention. No, none of that. None of that. Your feminine energy is literally unconditionally present and available for you 100% at any given moment that you choose to come out of your masculine energy and to take the steps to reconnect and to open and remember to be back in your feminine energy. And so this is very important for you to know, that it's all up to you, 100% up to you. Okay, good. So from here, let's talk about how to live from your feminine energy. So this first process that I just described of recognizing that you are in your masculine and taking the steps and using the practices to get into your feminine energy is, of course, very important in the beginning, right? Very important in the beginning because it takes practice. It takes practice and it takes time because this old conditioning is so strong that you must be patient with yourself, right? You must be patient with yourself. And so just again, just a few key notes for yourself to take. I wish I would know how to pop it into the video, like those key points. I'm not so techie, so you're going to just have to write it down for yourself. But one of those key ways of recognizing when you are in your masculine is that when you're thinking, when you're in your head, that's guarantee you're in your masculine and not in your feminine. When you're thinking about anything and everybody, right? When you're overthinking, when you're looping thinking, when you're obsessively thinking, all of the thinking is masculine energy, except for when you're in higher self thinking, which is a different kind of thinking. The higher self, the higher perspective thinking is that of solution from the bigger perspective, looking for the bird's eye view, looking for the, okay, let me see all of the sides. Let me see all of the angles. Let me see all of the perspectives. What am I meant to learn here? What am I meant to see differently here? What is challenging my ego? What is challenging my belief? How can I approach this from the highest perspective? How can I work with this from the highest timeline? And so that is all feminine energy thinking. That is the connection to your higher self mind. So sorry, it's so noisy here today. I had to move from the office upstairs into my home. So I hope you can ignore the noise. So know that that's thinking in a good way. That's thinking in the elevated way, right? That's you thinking from your higher self perspective, being open to seeing all the angles, knowing and wanting to receive all of the lessons so that you maintain your continuous growth attitude, mindset, right? And also to learn how to communicate, how to address situations, differences, challenges from that feminine, that kindness, that is your light, that is your soul, always with firm clarity, right? We have to also now realize that, yes, soft strength, gentle firmness, right? This is hand in hand for you to learn to work with. Good. So we now understand the masculine energy thinking. That's not necessarily bad or wrong. It's just repetitive. And it doesn't really offer the bigger picture perspective of the feminine mindset, right? It's very repetitive and it just keeps recycling back around, and it keeps looping and sucking us into lower and lower and lower ways of thinking most of the time. So thinking is one of the points. And then the other point, of course, is when you are feeling anxious or self-doubting or worrisome or depressed or lonely or victimized, right? When we're going into the emotional range, that is also masculine energy. Because remember, emotions are just chemicals created in your brain. And so these brain created chemicals are a part of the masculine energy. Yes, they are a part of the conditioning. It's your cells being fed by the hormones, by the chemicals that your hypothalamus is producing, running through the bloodstream and fueling your cells and feeding your cells. And your cells have formed receptors to these chemicals. And so your body and subconscious are actually addicted to these old ways of feeling. So for example, somebody who's addicted to drama, they will recreate drama in their lives, whether they want it or not. So the conscious part has very little to do with it until we've really healed deeply enough, until we've really understood ourselves to the deepest levels and really work with our subconscious patterning. These old ways, these old dramas, these old experiences will recreate themselves over and over again. And so learning to breathe, feel, don't think. Yes, because these emotional reactions, these emotional floodings, or the purging, whichever one it may be in the moment, is simply a part of the process of you taking charge, of you choosing to work with it from your feminine energy. And how you do that is by, okay, do everything you can to stay present to the breath, away from the thoughts, deeply down into the breath. Hold your breath after the inhale. If you have to exhale, hold your breath. Inhale, hold your breath. Exhale, hold your breath, right? So you're taking charge of yourself and you're taking the power away from the thinking, from the ego's way of wanting to attach the story. And once you have reclaimed your power, you stay in the breath, you stay in the emotion, you stay in the processing of the emotion, feeling through it without attaching the thoughts. And this will do two things. One, it'll help you release and process the emotion. Two, it'll help heal and clear the pattern, because it's through the thinking into the emotion that you reinforce the old story, that you deepen it into your biology. Okay, good. And so recognizing that most of your patterns are masculine energy, you now also need to pay attention to what of your habits, what of your tendencies, right? What of your ways of knee-jerk reacting? What of the ways in which you shut down? What of the ways in which you freeze up or get aggressive and defend? All of these patterns now are also masculine energy. And when you're finding yourself in these knee-jerk reactions, or you're finding yourself wanting to distract yourself, wanting to make it all go away for that quick fix, right? That instant gratification reach. It could be, blaming, shaming, judging, which the ego loves to do. But it could also be reaching for a drink, reaching for a smoke, wanting to shop, or sex, or distracting self in any other which ways, right? We have become masters at distracting ourselves. So, thinking, emotional experiences, and or physical ways of reacting or distracting. Those are the 3 points that I wish I could add into the video right there. Those are the things that you really need to watch. That these are pretty much guaranteed masculine energy patterns, mental, emotional, physical patterns. And of course, they all are intertwined and trigger each other. But it's okay. It's okay, because your feminine energy is the solution. Your feminine energy to the rescue. And all of it is the same process. And this is the most important work, especially in the beginning. It continues to be the work, because the journey is until you leave this body. But it'll get lighter. It'll get lighter, it'll be easier, right? Little by little, it'll all begin to loosen up, and you'll begin to heal deeper. And as you keep coming back to the same recipe, which is breathe, feel, don't think. Don't think, come away from the thoughts, come away from the urges, come away of the desire to distract and get away from the discomfort, right? And just come back into the breath. Breathe, feel, don't think. And like I've said just now, if it's really intense, hold your breath after the inhale. Hold your breath after the exhale. So to just give yourself that, yes, you're in charge, not your ego, not your patterns, not the external. You're in charge, but we're having to relearn that we're actually truly in charge. And we're actually having to relearn how this being in charge now is gonna look and feel and be now embodied by ourselves. Yes? Yes, good. Now let's get to the embodiment part. So here you are, you're very clear on when you're in your masculine, and when you're in your masculine, it's always for you to be like, okay, back into the feminine, back into the breath, back into the focus within, into the inner connection, right? And so a wonderful practice that is very, very, very helpful for you to be in your feminine energy and stay in your feminine energy is to activate your third eye and to see your inner connection through the third eye. And this is a practice that you definitely want to practice with your eyes open. It's very important now that you stretch yourself in your abilities and go ahead and as you are looking at somebody or something, which I am doing this right now, go ahead and at the same time see yourself on the inside. See yourself in your feminine energy. See yourself in this feeling, sensing, knowing experience of yourself on the inside. And if you want a bit more of an anchor, which may help, go ahead and breathe up and down your spine and visualize this as you are now breathing up and down your spine. So it's a way of you energetically connecting and holding on to your inner awareness, because it's really that, right? Your feminine energy is you being in your inner awareness first, because it's the true self. And then you get to play and interact in this earthly experience, which is just the illusion. So here you are in your inner awareness and you're breathing into your belly and you see it and sense it and feel it and visualize it. And if you want to, you can be breathing up and down and spine just to get yourself right back into that center. Okay, I've got this, I can do this, okay. And so now this is, of course, yet a whole nother practice for you to now bring into your life, right? Now you're learning to live from your feminine energy. And this is another practice that you want to start practicing with maybe friends and family first, so that you practice being in your inner awareness while you're having a conversation, or you're practicing being in your inner awareness while you're with your children or your family and you're having your normal day-to-day interactions. And perhaps you want to practice it while you're fixing a meal, right? So practice, practice, practice. Practice being in this inner connection. Practice being in this inner awareness. Practice breathing up and down your spine. Good. And then from here, as this becomes more and more comfortable and the new norm, you are now going to be able to be more open to how you're actually feeling and what you are feeling from within your soul, right? Because this is the ultimate goal. We're just working our way inward. And the ultimate goal is for you to stay so deeply connected and always be in this inner awareness that you're now within your intuition. You are now within your sensory. You are now within your gut instinct. You are now within your feeling and knowing and sensing and intuiting and access really to your higher self, right? So the feminine energy connects all of these bigger parts of you that are the real you and links them into and through the physical body. So as if you're playing this human character, and Earth is a great big Halloween party where all of us are dressed up as different human characters, right? And so we want to have fun with these human characters, and we want to be able to play these human characters in the best way possible. But also at the same time, we never want to lose touch with who we really are, right? We don't want to get lost in the character. That's what has been happening by being in the masculine energy. A few more tips. Of course, there are doings that I'm sure you've heard of. There are doings that you can use to get yourself more into your feminine energy feeling. So, for example, dance, right? Dancing, not for anybody else but yourself, moving your body to music and coming more into your body. That is usually the way in which we are opening to our feminine energy, right? So we're now using doings as a hook to access and open into our feminine energy. So yes, so dancing could be a wonderful way, or another wonderful way could be grounding. Yes, so grounding is always the way through which we are connecting into our feminine energy as well. Feeling the earth connection, you can open through the soles of your feet and grow roots down into Mother Earth. Yes, so all of these are wonderful ways in which to open to the feminine energy. Of course, meditation. Meditation is a very important practice, nevertheless, because it is also the ascended form to master the mind. And it's also necessary to stay more seated in the feminine energy, to be able to not think, right? To be able to not have to be a puppet to the thoughts, right? The brain is our servant, not our master. And not all thoughts are good or supportive or the right thing. Yes, oftentimes people mistake the thoughts and the ego voices for intuition and guidance, right? Yet another clue for you is to really remember that it's happening in the lower part of the torso, right? We want to breathe and feel from the lower part, from the belly, from the solar plexus area. Heart too, yes, but in order for you to really open into your sensory, and in order for you to really activate the deep knowing and being able to read energy and understand the energetic communication, we must be in the belly breath. And so walking meditation, right? Active meditation, like I've shared before, making the mundane holy. Yes, using mundane doings such as washing the dishes for this meditative practice, to practice getting out of the head, not letting the thoughts take us away from the focus on the doing, washing the dishes, focusing onto the breath, and learning to let the thoughts float by, which will reteach the subconscious to stop sending all of the thoughts. With time and practice of this, making the mundane holy and making it an active meditation, as to not engaging the thoughts, but staying fully committed to the breath and the doing. And you will be able to watch the thoughts and hear the thoughts floating right by, whistling at you, wanting to get your attention, right? And so when we have that power, that strength on the inside to withstand that, to not buy into it, to not jump to satisfying that, indulging the thinking, right? It's a practice that grows us into more and more strength, and simultaneously will retrain the subconscious. Because the subconscious has been sending you all of these thoughts, all of these thoughts, all of these thoughts, and the ego continues to send all of the thoughts because you've been indulging them, because you've been engaging them without question. And so what that says to your subconscious is, oh, perfect, wants them, send more, because you're taking them, right? So I know all of this is a lot. And it seems like a very big process. And it is a big process. you know. Ascension and light embodiment is not for the weak of heart. It's not an easy journey. It's not an easy process, but it is what we're all inevitably moving into. It is what we're all inevitably now growing into, because it is ascension time. And we're either light or we're not. We're either soul or we're ego. You know, it's now no more of the, oh, well, this is just how I am. People are still choosing that, of course, but that is going to create deeper and deeper and deeper sense of lack and dissatisfaction, right? And the more that we're taking on this practice, no matter how challenging it may appear, one day at a time, one moment at a time, it'll really open up all of the things that you want. You taking this on and you choosing to breathe away from the thoughts into your belly, into your inner awareness, breathing up and down your spine, letting that become the norm and beginning to open yourself to feeling and to receiving from within. So more and more and more as you're doing that, you will feel more joy. You will feel strength building. You will feel clarity more and more often. You will recognize your ability to create clarity simply by letting go of the thoughts and focusing all of your attention onto the breath. So you're clearing your energy field, and it's going to become easier and easier and easier. This will level up your vibration. You will raise your vibration, and it'll level you to higher timelines of your potential and your purpose. So the gifts and the rewards are infinite, infinite. And it's worth it. It's worth doing this work. It's worth this practice, right? And so this practice now needs to be taken into the day-to-day. Be patient with yourself. Don't push, don't pressure, don't rush. That's, again, masculine energy, right? And really learning to practice this inner space of knowing, of feeling, of sensing, of reading energy. And from here, beginning to draw on the feminine energy ways of thinking. Remember, looking for the bigger picture, looking for the highest perspective, looking to learn the lessons, looking to see and understand where other people are coming from, right? Learning to trust yourself in terms of your guidance as to how to approach this, how to go about it, how to have the conversation, how to come from the right place, how to come from the right energy. And this is how we then begin to learn these new ways. It's like learning a new language where we have to practice. The only way we can actually embody a new language is by practicing it. We can go to school, we can try babble at home, but until we actually take it into the world and speak it, until we actually take it into our lives and practice it, it's just an intellectual concept versus now really beginning to practice it, which is embodying it. Good. So from here, I'm very proud of you, because if you're here and if you're still listening now, 30 minutes into this video, it means that you're serious. You're serious about yourself. You're serious about your light. You're understanding that your feminine energy is really something that you now need to learn and want to learn. And yeah, begin to practice for yourself. And again, be patient. One day at a time. I am sending love and light blessings to you and yours. Thank you for your light. Thank you for your presence here on this platform. And please do like, share, subscribe so we can all grow together. And from here, ciao for now.